For Week 5, we've got Huni, Dardoch, Power of Evil, Altec, and Hakuo. First up, Huni.
Yep, going to be a lot of Echo Fox today as they kind of solidified themselves as the #1 team in the league. Huni had some monster games. His GP got counterpicked by his own Lucian, and he made sure he punished that pretty hard with Dardoch coming in to help
as well. This is the, you will never pick Lucian against me again, I promise, as he runs him down after getting the lead. And Huni himself is just such a huge presence on every team he seems to be in the NALCS. Like at the very start of the day, we kind of gave our mid-season MVP to Smoothie, who Huni helped destroy today with Echo Fox. So I think if they continue on this pace, he would be a front runner.
All right, next up we got Dardoch, the jungler, right behind Huni.
Yeah, you're talking about MVP candidates. Dardoch mentioned how big of an influence Huni was on him, but he's putting in his own work. A lot of this game was decided by him, constantly chasing down Licorice in that top lane. You see him underneath his second turret, actually getting the kill with his ultimate. Huge engages out of him. And this week, doing it on things that are not the Zac, which is really impressive. Had a great Jax game yesterday, had another good Sejuani performance today.
What was it, Jat? 3 times the top jungle proximity that he normally has in today's game?
He camped it. He had 19, he spent 19% of his early game within 2,000 units of Huni.
Right. I mean, I don't know if Lucian was the wisest choice to begin with, but I did not envy Licorice's position once the gang started flowing in that direction. Next up, Optic's Power of Evil. This guy put on a show today.
Yeah, and we were really close to throwing Phoenix in here, but when you look at the rest of Echo Fox, there's so many people that contribute to their wins. If Power of Evil didn't play the way he did, I don't even know if Optic wins a game this weekend, and they were a couple auto attacks away from going 2-0.
Right.
He nearly solo carried that Cinder game. His Victor was awesome. He did everything he could this week and really put his stamp on the week.
Right, and you gave the nod, but let's talk about this gentleman as well, Phoenix, just real quick, because I know that he has, in a sense, flown under the radar, and when we look at Echo Fox, we spit a lot of other names out before we get to him.
Yeah, and I think he really does deserve credit and deserves to be in that discussion for the top mid laner right now. Jat had him as his pick for the All-Pro team, and I think he clearly deserves to be there. He has a different style than what we're seeing out of a lot of the NALCS right now. He doesn't play the roamers. He's not going to pick the Galio, not going to pick Talia, but he's going to play his champions. He's going to take Vlad blind, flex it into the mid lane. He's going to perform great.
Right, when you're on the team that's smashing, man, it makes it very hard to pick between all of them. Next up, Echo Fox's Altec, another one.
Yeah, speak of that team.
Pretty much unheralded, but had a near perfect week. He has been leading the NALCS 80 carry pool in kills pretty much the whole year, but in this game against Cloud9, it was him and Adrian who were generating their own kills in the bottom lane instead of just generating kills in team.
Right, they had a winning matchup, but other people have had winning matchups on C9, and most people have not been this effective. So the fact that they were able to destroy that bot lane, break the turret, hold Smoothie down, as well as have good team fighting later on was really critical in that win.
All right, and lastly, for the support position, we're going to find Clutch Gaming's Hakuo.
And this is it's always hard to stand out on support, but Clutch Gaming grabbing their 2-0 this weekend is a huge reason why. Able to protect Apollo, who also had a pretty good weekend. We were discussing him a little bit, but just a kind of standout performance, especially on the Xayah Rakan game that they had versus TSM. A lot of the engages were kicked off by him.
Yeah, as you can see, another deathless week, especially as Hakuo, who is a main initiator for that team, shows how clean he was playing.
Right, finally starting to find some direction for that squad, moving to 6-4 solidly in the playoff picture.
Tied for third.
So exactly, and that's crazy. That is crazy to me. But again, we have to recognize that from that third place down to about 7, there's only a few games separating everybody, right? So still plenty can happen. Now, as teams battled it out, you tweeted the individual plays you wanted to see again in this week's LCS Big Plays, brought to you by Acer Predator. First up, Sneaky takes out Bjergsen from downtown. Let's take a look.
Both teams are here.
Oh, wow, what a hit there from Sneaky. Actually gets the pass through on Bjergsen. Midney in a bad spot as he tries to save him. And the rest of the team had actually just bring it back. Sneaky gets it on the true shot barrage.
Son. On bomb. Look at bomb. Nice. What about pressure? Can we take the next wave and then...
Oh, nice.
Let's get Nash up there. Let's get Nash.
Sneaky says, nope, not getting away from me.
You love how
immediate change.
Immediate change. They're running up mid lane, and then Sven's like, never mind, I'm going this way. And they just both all book it to Baron.
Right, that's that decisiveness that we've talked about is one of the major differences between our top few teams and everyone else behind them in the pack. Our next big play is for Mark and shows that all you need to escape with Ryze's ult is a cool head and some fancy footwork. Let's take a look.
Someday had just used his previously back to top side, so he wasn't going to go.
Oh!
Ryu doesn't need no staking stopwatch.
Get that out of here.
He dodges the ultimate, gets right back in, and that was a beautiful escape. You want to see the outplays. You want to see the skill here.
Kobe takes the words right out of my mouth. Stopwatch makes it easy. Face palm, press some buttons, you're out of there. Ryu has to have some fancy feet.
No stinking stopwatch.
Step out of the ult, come back in. Much more impressive than getting out the other way.
Super slick, actually. A very slick play. Next up, Arrow gets the Quadra and turns the game into the League of Draven.
Victor does indeed fall, but a third one comes in. 3 for the Draven, another one for the Gnar. It will not be the Penta. It does get denied. The stopwatch used just to buy 2.5 seconds. Matt will fall. A Quadra for Draven. Zig is a scumbag, but it does mean Baron goes cleanly to Optics.
I'm on Charlie. Help, coming, help, coming. I'm on Camille. Yeah, okay, nice on their back line.
Oh, sorry, man. My bad. I'm really sorry. My bad. I'm not gonna go ready.
Give a Quadra.
Sorry, my bad.
You can have Quadra. Give him Quadra. You can have Quadra. Nice, let's see Baron. Okay.
Sorry, man. I was greedy for flash.
The consolation
Sorry,
prize.
I'll give it the Quadra. It's fine. It's fine. I also like how Arrow talked in the interview after that game, how he's like, I really should not have burned my flash going for the pentakill because we may have needed it later.
As a former coach, that's like the mentality you want to see?
Yeah,
in the player,
it's just like
right?
you want to be 100% serious all the time, and you're like, good, you realize it immediately. Don't do that.
I love it. I love to see that. Now, as we continue through the second half of the split, keep sending us your big plays to @LOL Esports with that hashtag NALCS. Now we're going to send it over to Freak, Zyrene, and Azael, though, for NALCS tonight, where they'll review the week's games, answer some fan tweets, and look towards next week's matchups.